Many thanks for staying on the marketplace today. Welcome back. Let's now settle for the very first story. CEO of McDan Shipping Company Limited, Daniel Macaulay, has emerged the 2017 Chamber Businessman of the Year. This was at the second edition of the Ghana Chamber Business Awards held over the weekend under the theme Empowering the Private Sector to Move Ghana Beyond Aid. There's more in this report. In all, 35 personalities, organizations and institutions were acknowledged by the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry at the second edition of the event. Several captains of industry as well as members of the business community attended the ceremony. Chairman of the Council of State and Omanhene of the Drabin Traditional Area, Nana Utu Srebo II, who was a special guest of honor, congratulated the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce for playing a significant role in the growth and development of the private sector. He said the 2019 budget will inspire business confidence, leading to positive impact and private sector growth and the economy generally. Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry Robert Ahomka Lindsay, who represented the Sector Minister Alan Chamanting, underscored the need to celebrate businesses, personalities and institutions that have distinguished themselves as it engages the next generation which wants to occupy the footsteps of their predecessors.
It is so important that we celebrate these businesses. And it's interesting that the categorization of the celebration is not linked just to what you may call sector. I was very interested to read that there are three key areas. One is the businesses, the personalities, and then, as importantly, the institutions. Because though we may come and go, the one thing we will leave behind is those institutions that we serve are part of. And so it is critical, as we sit here today and come through the second edition, that we tip our hat, we bow our heads and congratulate all of the organizations, personalities, and institutions that have done so well. Because it is through that celebration and through that acknowledgement that, one, we give credit where credit is due, and two, we engage the next generation that want to step in the footsteps of the previous generation.
CEO of McDan Shipping Company Limited, Daniel Macaulay, expressed his happiness for emerging 2017 Chamber Businessman of the Year. He was also upbeat this year's budget will create a boom for businesses next year.
For me, it's where I stand and the kind of business I do, I believe that it's good for my business. We need to grow our territories. We need to move out of this our comfort zone. We need to also be patriotic to know that this is our country. We need to support in our little ways. We need to open our minds and do business. So growth is our hallmark. And we want to move, we want to take one day at a time.
The Chamber Businesswoman of the Year award went to Janet Abopigu, CEO of Unij Limited, while the Young Entrepreneur of the Year also was given to Ruth Maria Asando of Aquila. Adonko Bitters Limited was the best regional company for the Ashanti region. Let's go into aviation now. A new domestic carrier, Unity Airline, has received its air operator certificate from the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, paving way for it to commence operations. This brings to a total number of 3 airlines now operating in the domestic space. Speaking at the presentation of the Air Operator Certificate, Minister for Aviation Kofi Adda said with 3 airlines now in the domestic aviation space, the ministry is confident better fares will be achieved.
Unity Airline, also known as Air Futures, received its Air Operator Certificate, having gone through the 5 mandatory phases to qualify for an Air Operator Certification by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. Officials of the airline presented a certificate to the Minister for Aviation, Kofi Adda.
It's really exciting for us to be sitting here today to be receiving a copy of the Air Operator Certificate from you. Doing that, come tomorrow or a day after or a week from now, you'll be flying again. So we wish to announce to the whole Ghanaian community that now you have more than just one airline. There are 3 airlines available to fly to any part of the country where there are passengers, where they think it's profitable for them to go to. This is not the end of it. I'm sure you knew there will be competition, and when you come in, we have other applications on our desks. I think about 2 more in sight that we think in the near future they'll also be awarded those certificates to start operating. So brace yourselves up for the competition. We will be the beneficiaries in getting lower fares, which we hope you are going to do by way of promotional activities. We'll get all of us who were not even flying to be able to fly at affordable rates.
Unity Air has indicated its intentions to operate flight from Accra, Kumasi, Tamale to Accra with a 30-seater Embraer 120 extended version. Speaking to Joy Business, the CEO of Unity Air, Bethel Donko, explained the airline will commence scheduled flights soon.
Again, there are some technical requirements that we have to put in place, and to also arrange with the GCA before we can formally commence operations. If we had our own way, we'll start tomorrow. But I can assure you that in the shortest possible time, definitely before the end of the year, but hopefully long before. It is possible that it can be even this month.
So following the entrance of two new players, Passion Airlines and Unity Air, it is believed that the domestic aviation industry is now on the verge of recovery. Sheila Tamaklu for Joy Business.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Aviation has announced plans to build a cargo village at the Tamale Airport as part of the second phase of the airport redevelopment to meet international standards. This is expected to cut the transportation cost of exporters from the northern middle belt of the country. Speaking to Joy Business, Minister for Aviation revealed his outfit is already in talks with potential investors for this project.
We're looking at the Tamale Airport, where we can have a big cargo village. That will also provide another avenue for cargo to be received or taken out of the country from the Tamale terminal. It's a big project. Phase 2 is coming on stream, so we're making provision for dedicated cargo terminal there. There are a number of investors who have come. They're ready to go out there and develop this. We're going through the initial phases of entering into understanding with them. And they're bringing their concepts and looking at the costing. And then it will come down to how much they're bringing on board and what government can get out of it, and whether we can take up that additional responsibility of supporting them to put up the infrastructure.
We're still live on the marketplace, coming to you live on Joy News. Let's do some budget stories now. And the KPMG is holding a budget forum to discuss aspects of the 2019 budget statement that was presented by the finance minister last week. Let's now go via Skype and speak with a partner of KPMG to tell us what to expect in the upcoming budget forum. Good afternoon. Andy Akoto is a partner. You're welcome to the marketplace.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to you.
All right, so could you tell us a little bit about the forum, the 2019 budget forum? What are we expecting? What exactly are you going to discuss?
Okay, so the forum is a lead to a pre-budget survey that we conducted to glean the expectations of the business community to serve as to the Ministry of you notice that the budget presentation, there has been a number of measures outlined for stronger growth, job creation opportunities. And so this platform is being put together to afford participants the opportunity to clarify any matters and also to address any areas that they believe ought to be looked at for successful implementation.
Oh, now, if I may ask, were you satisfied with the budget, the 2019 budgets?
Well, for the viewpoint of the survey that we conducted, we will say that expectations were partly, but there were still some issues. For example, the business community continues to clamor for more affordable to fund their businesses. We didn't hear this, although there were some intent to provide some stimulus packages for some industries, which is good. But, for example, we'll still expect to hear more as to how government works with the financial services sector and the tandem expectations of the business.
Now, what is your personal opinion about, trying the minister trying to broaden the tax net to open more people to pay taxes, and he aligning, social interventions with the tax identification number?
Well, it's mandated by law. If you notice that the Revenue Administration basically makes provision for enforcing this measure. So we believe it's right to be able to help formalize bring more people into the tax net, and thereby increase revenue to support social and economic agenda. Having said that, I believe there could be more innovative ways to also a number of our people remain largely out of the formal sector. Let me also add that just mentioning the application of the 10 by everybody does not necessarily result in enhanced revenue. And so we need to still discuss that to see how practically this will impact on enhancing government revenue.
All right. Now, I believe we'll get more from the various speakers who will speak at the forum, but tell us when and what time is this forum scheduled to take place?
The program is scheduled to take place at the Accra Marriott City by 4 o'clock. It is strictly by invitation. We received a lot of requests from a number of business leaders to do that. But nonetheless, those who are not able to participate should be able to join the social media, Facebook, Twitter, handle, and the rest. We've already received questions from people from all over Ghana that we'll be putting forward to the panelists to address.
All right, many thanks for your time. Andy Akoto is a partner at KPMG, and he was talking ahead of the Budget Forum, 2019 Budget Forum, which is being organized by the KPMG at the Marriott International Hotel here in Accra. Now, away from that, President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nana Appiah Danka, also has been speaking, clarifying an MOU signed recently between Ghana and Qatar. He tells Joy Business the agreement will enable Ghanaian professionals the opportunity to work conveniently in the oil-rich country as on expatriate basis. During a recent visit to the Persian Gulf by a Ghanaian delegation led by President Akufo-Addo, several bilateral trade agreements were initialed between the two countries for the establishment of partnerships. Now, let's go over to Nana Appiah Danka also for some details.
When you signed in Qatar, there have been so many things in it, so many things that are, so in simple terms, we are going to have, Qatar is going to host the next World Cup. And Qatar, their population, the indigents is only about 500,000 people. And the other citizens or other immigrants are about 2.3 million. So it tells you that the numbers, they lag behind, workforce. So they want to have people coming from Ghana to come and work in their industries, and then to help them to build the various stadiums that they want to do.
Still live on the marketplace. Let's still do some budget stories. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says policy measures outlined in the 2019 budget would help position the country as an industrialized economy. He's been speaking about the budget, and my colleague George Wiafe was there. George, what has he been saying?
Well, he's been talking about a lot of things. He's been talking about his challenges. He's been talking about policy measures that they are putting in place. And the first bit was about moving the country to more of an industrialized one. He believes that the 2019 budget has all the ingredients that you can think about that will help grow and expand the economy, create the required jobs, industry springing up, employing more people. So going into next year, expect that they are going to put in place or enforce those policy measures that they've outlined in the budget to help grow the economy and expand the economy.
But many people are have been concerned about budget overruns that are supposed to come alongside this expenditure. What exactly has he been saying?
He's been talking about the fact that it's not just about talking that we will do this and that in terms of the fiscal discipline. So they're going to put in place measures. You're talking about the Fiscal Council, that will be an autonomous body that will pass verdicts on government's budget. Also putting in place a law that will try to cap government's expenditure. So at each every year, you cannot spend more than certain percentage, i.e. the value of your economy. So all those requirements would again check government to ensure that we don't have an overrun. And he's been engaging and convincing businesses at the PricewaterhouseCoopers budget forum that took place this afternoon.
Now, one of the other issues is that industrialization always has to go with employment, because we need to employ people to work in industries. Now, the budget made projection of 30,000 employment opportunities. Now, how is he going to come up by that? And how is he going to link
the argument is that region comes first. And so if you first create the enabling environment for businesses to access credit and expand their businesses, you need personnel to do that. And they believe that first, they are stabilizing the economy, they are dealing with inflation, they are dealing with how to control the amount of liquidity in the system. And all these things indirectly would impact businesses. And they would then be forced to employ a lot of people, and that would again spur the industrialization that they're looking forward to. We had the country partner of PricewaterhouseCoopers, Mr. Sheikh, also talking about the fact that he believes that those measures that would aid the growth of businesses can be identified in the budget, and therefore he's quite optimistic about things going forward in 2019.
Is that to say that PwC is really they embrace the budget wholeheartedly?
They have some issues with the budget with respect to revenue, but they believe that take revenue away, there are other policy measures that would help grow businesses, and that is what excites them as an accounting firm in putting together this forum, in trying to bring together all the business players, the leaders, and other several actors in the economy to deliberate on the budget. All
right, many thanks for your time. George, we'll get some more of the forum in our subsequent bulletins. My colleague George will have bring us up to speed with the PwC Budget Forum, which was held this morning. Now, before we go, she used to sell 15 bags a day, but following the 50% increment, Halima is unable to even sell 4 bags. This is the story of some water sachet sellers following an increase in prices by the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers.
Obviously, these hawkers have not welcomed the increment happily. Halima, who has been plying the trade for the past 3 years, tells me that formerly she made a profit of 2 cedis per bag. Although her profit will increase to 3 cedis per bag following the increment, customers are now unwilling to buy her water.
15 bags, 20 bags.
When it was 20 pesos, I was able to sell about 15 to 20 bags. But now since the increase, I have not been able to sell 4 bags. I have sold only 3 bags since morning.
Not
all sachet water producers have increased the price of their products. John Caston Sasa, supervisor for Joy Kumenua Water, explains that they would have to conduct a survey before implementing the increment.
We just want to assess things before we can increase the production price. But for production, we are doing it. There are so many factors, like the fuel, when buying the water also, water cost also is one of these too. The management will sit down. We just can't wake up and say, oh, I've increased my price. But the management have to sit down and weigh it through all around.
He did, however, raise a point about the neglect of the smaller denominations of the peswa, explaining that this has partially influenced the 10 peswa increase.
The currency we are taking, people are not valuing the 1 peswa, 10 peswa in the system. So if you increase it 1 peswa, nobody will, they don't have it. They don't have the 1 peswa because we are ignoring the 1 peswa in the system. That's why we are making 20 pesos. Because if you buy, I can't change you 9 pesos. And where am I going to get the change of that small coins?
The failure to appreciate the lower denomination, that is the 1 peswa and 5 peswa, could be the cause of the sudden rise in prices, rounding to the 10th peswa. So we hit the street to find out if people would accept a 3 peswa change if water was to be sold at 27 peswas.
Even if they will increase it, it should be around, they should increase it by, they can increase it by 1 peso. That one will be better.
It will sound to me as if the 10 peso or the 1 peso is no more of use in the system. So it wouldn't be good to me.
Oh, like he's only the wedding. And 20 pesos now, they are okay.
This is very bad for them to increase it. If we go back to use our 1 peso, it will be very good.
1 peso is now, okay.
So, I just bought a sachet of water for 30 Ghana pesos. I could have bought it at a lesser price, even though there is 50% increase. Some sachet water producers are attributing the 50% increase of sachet water to Ghanaians reluctant in accepting a lower denomination. That's 1 peso and 5 pesos. So I'm asking, is it the price we are paying for neglecting our lower denomination? Albert Abisu reporting for Joy Business.
Well, so your guess may be good as mine. And on that note, wrap up this afternoon's edition of The Marketplace. My name is Emmanuel Apuachi. Have a good afternoon.